Hello and welcome to C-Suite Secrets. I'm Heather Parsons, your host, a serial entrepreneur, fractional CFO, and a business value strategist. I've spent years juggling business and family life while helping entrepreneurs scale, optimize cash flow, and build real financial success. On our show, we bring you real conversations with founders, executives, and operators about what actually moves the needle in their business. No fluff, no filler, just smart strategy, systems that work, and insights that you can put to use in your business right away. With that, let's dive right in. Normally, this is the part where I introduce a guest, but today we're doing things a little differently. Today on C-Suite Secrets, it's just you and me. This is episode 2 of our 12-part series, Think Like a CFO. And this series is designed to help you understand what's actually happening inside your business finances. Not just what your reports say, but what they mean for your growth, your profit, and the decisions that you're making every single day as a business owner. This isn't about turning you into an accountant, and it isn't about complicated formulas or memorizing financial terms. It's about learning how to see your business through the lens of a CFO so that you can stop guessing, stop reacting, and start making intentional, confident decisions. Because most founders, they don't struggle with money because they're bad at business. They struggle because no one ever taught them how to interpret what their numbers are actually telling them. And that's what we're going to start changing. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through how CFOs actually see revenue differently. Hopefully, as you learn more, you will start looking at your business through these same lenses, and a lot of the fog around your finances will begin to lift. So with that, let's get started. One of the biggest shifts that I see when I'm working with founders as their CFO is realizing that profit is not something that you manage in real time. It's something that you see after everything else has already happened. And this is where a lot of business owners, they really get tripped up because the thought process is, I'll know things are working when I see the profit. But by that time, the pricing is already set, the clients are already signed, and the work is already starting to be delivered. So profit isn't telling you what to do. It's telling you what you already did. And that's where things start to get frustrating because you're using something that you can't change to decide what to do next. This is where I see a lot of really smart, hardworking founders really get tripped up. They're checking their bank account, they're looking at their P&L, they're waiting for that number to tell them that things are okay. And when it's not where they really want it to be, the reaction is, well, I need more revenue. I need to get more clients. I should push harder. But profit isn't the starting point, it's the result. It's like checking your GPS after you've already driven 300 miles and then saying, okay, now I'll decide if I went the right direction. Profit is really just the scoreboard. It's not really the game. And this is also why money feels stressful in business because you feel like you're constantly reacting. You feel behind, you feel like you're guessing, you feel like you're working super hard, but money is just not showing up for you. And the truth is, you're looking at something you can't change anymore. You can't go back and fix last month's profit, but you can fix what creates next month's profit. Just recently, I was talking to a client who on paper was doing everything right. Revenue was coming in, they were busy, they were working nonstop, but when we actually looked at their numbers, there was nothing left over at the end of the month. And their first thought was, I just need to make more sales. But that wasn't the problem. They were winning work, it just wasn't profitable work. Let me make this even more real. This was a service-based business. They were charging what felt like a solid price in line with their competitors. Their calendar was full, work was coming in, but from the outside, it looked like things were great. But when we broke it down, they were spending way more time delivering what they realized. There were multiple touch points, back and forth with the clients, a lot of manual work, and a lot of rework. And none of that was priced in. So every time they made a sale, they were actually compressing their margins. So from the outside, it looked like growth, but underneath, the math didn't support it. Once we slowed down and looked at their revenue differently, everything changed. Instead of asking, how much did you make? We asked, what did it take to make that? We broke it down simply. What did you sell? How much did you charge? How much time did it take? Who was involved? What did it cost for the actual delivery? We didn't want to do anything complicated. We just wanted to have a clear look at what goes into each dollar of revenue. And from there, it became obvious where the money was going and why profit wasn't showing up. Because here's the truth. If you don't know what it costs to deliver what you sell, you don't know if your business is actually working, not busy, not growing, actually working and going to deliver a profit for you. If you want to fix this, here's where you can start. Pick your most common offer. Look at your last few sales. Ask these questions and get really honest. Look at what did you charge? What did it actually take to deliver this? And keep it simple. Look at your time, your team's time, and any tool or resource tied to that delivery. That's it. Doesn't have to be perfect, just honest and a place to get started. Because once you see that number, you'll start to see exactly where your profit's going. And from there, you can adjust pricing, simplify delivery, or stop doing the things that aren't actually working. And that's the shift, because stress in business usually comes from looking at things you can't control. But this is something you can change. So here's how this changes when you start thinking like a CFO. CFOs, we don't really manage profit. We look at it and it's an important indicator, but what we really manage is what creates profit. We're always asking, what decisions are being made today that are going to show up in the numbers later? I see this shift happen all the time. At first, it sounds like, I don't know why we aren't hitting our revenue numbers. I just feel like we should have more. There's a feeling, but no clarity. And then when we track one or two of these things, all of a sudden it's like, this is where it's happening. With one client, we started looking at just a few simple drivers. We looked at conversion rate, average sales price, and revenue target. They already had loads of leads coming in, but they weren't tracking what happened after that. And they definitely weren't tracking it by product. What we found was simple. Their salesperson was struggling to close higher ticket offers. So they defaulted to the lower tier option that they really understood better. On paper, it looked like they were selling, but in reality, they were selling the wrong things. The volume was there, but their unit mix was off because profit is the result. Everything else is just a cause. And if you want to change the result, you have to manage the cause. So if you want to start doing this, don't track everything. Start with one driver. Look at your conversion rate, your average sales price, and if you can, track it by product. That's where the real insight is. Look at just one thing, because when you track drivers, you can actually influence outcomes. So if we're not starting with looking at profit, where do we actually look? This is where we go upstream. If I'm looking at a business and trying to figure out why profit isn't where it should be, these are the top 5 areas I look at first. Let's count them down. Number 5, retention and repeat revenue. This is the easiest money in your business. It's already there, but most people ignore it. They're constantly chasing new leads instead of maximizing the ones that they've already paid to get. I see this all of the time. Someone delivers great results for a client and then it ends. No next steps, no continuation, no expansion, not even asking for a referral. And there's so much opportunity just sitting right there. You don't need more leads. You need to use the ones that you've already paid for. Number 4, the founder bottleneck. If everything runs through you, your business is always going to feel hard because you become the delay. You become the decision maker for everything, and you're actually the limiter. And a lot of founders, they don't even realize that they're the bottleneck until they step back and see how much is actually dependent on them. If everything depends on you, profit will always feel harder than it should. Number 3, delivery and operations. What does it actually take to deliver what you sell? Because this is where profit quietly disappears. It disappears in inefficiency, rework, over-delivery and scope creep, or in things not being standardized. This level of chaos is expensive. Most people, they just don't see the bill until it's way too late. Things like going back and fixing work, answering the same questions over and over again, doing things manually that could be systematized, it doesn't show up in one line item, but it absolutely shows up when you look at your net profit. Just because you don't see the cost doesn't mean it's not there. Number 2, and my favorite one to work on, most founders are guessing when it comes to pricing. They're not factoring in the actual time it takes, the cost to deliver, or the margin they need so that they can grow their business. But profit never shows up. I've had moments where we talked through someone's pricing and realized after everything is said and done, they're barely making anything. Or sometimes they're even losing money and didn't even realize it. If your pricing isn't intentional, your profit won't be either. Then number 1, and a great one to start looking at first. Not all revenue is good quality revenue. Some clients, they drain your time. Some offers are underpriced. Some revenue looks great on paper, but it doesn't leave you with anything at the end. You can grow your business and feel more broke and have less time available. I worked with a business that had a really strong top line revenue, But when we broke it down, a big portion of that revenue was tied to work that took way too much time, effort, and resources. And then there were a couple of offers that were simple, clean, and actually profitable, but they weren't being prioritized for sale. Some revenue makes you money, some just keeps you busy. So here's what this looks like in real life. You've got one offer that sells easy, keeps you busy, feels productive, but it takes more time, more effort, more back and forth. And then you've got another offer. It's clean, it's easy to deliver, and it actually has margin to it, but it's not what you're prioritizing. So the business grows, but profit doesn't. Growth without margin is just expensive activity. So when you look at all of this together, profit isn't random. It's the result of what you sell, how you price it, and what it takes to deliver. If you want to change profit, you have to go upstream. So instead of doing more, here's a good place to start. Look at your last 30 days. Pick your top 5 sales or clients and ask these questions. Which of these actually made me money? And which of these felt difficult? Because those are usually not the same thing. And if you can't clearly answer that, that's where your profit's getting lost. From here, you don't need to change everything. This is where people overcomplicate it. They think they need a full system, perfect numbers, or a complete overhaul. You don't. You need one clear decision, because one good decision based on real numbers is worth way more than 10 guesses. Ask yourself this: where is money being made? Where is money being lost? And what is one decision that would make this business easier to run? Not bigger, not more complex, easier. Because the most profitable businesses aren't the busiest. They're the ones that are designed well. Stop waiting for profit to tell you if things are working. Start managing the things that you can actually control and create. If you found today's conversation valuable, be sure to hit that like and follow button and share this episode with somebody who's building a business. If you're at the point in your business where you're working hard and the business is growing, but you're not keeping as much cash as you feel like you should, or your numbers feel like a mystery, that's exactly why we created One Room, our boardroom experience. It's a hands-on way to simplify your numbers, understand what's actually driving profit, and start making decisions like a financially minded CEO, not just reacting. If you want more information between episodes, join us on Facebook at C-Suite Insiders, or come find me on Instagram at Heather Parsons Official. Until next time, keep growing, and remember, you don't have to do this alone.